You guys know how Ruby from 8 Passengers on YouTube got arrested, and so did the woman she was doing, I think it's called like something Connections, and they were doing like, you know, their way of raising children and religion and all that shit. Well, I've been getting these notifications for comments that I made on YouTube, and I'm like, oh my god, I made these like 8 months ago. Why is everybody liking it? Like, I'm talking like almost 3,000 likes. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, oh yeah, duh, she just got arrested. Of course people are going to do their own research. Look up these older YouTube videos. Some people made them years ago. There is a channel on here, I'll tag it if I can find it. Adam McIntyre talks about her, and she's been talking about it for years. Now, the video I saw, I think, was from Swoop, or from Spill Sesh, or Spill Tea. And it was 8 months ago, and I made the comment, like, they're fucking delusional. She's the one abusing these children. This is abuse. Not the world abusing them. It's fucking you. I can tell an abuser, a manipulator, a fucking somebody who neglects and abuses their children, because I lived it my entire life with my mother. She's a full-fledged narcissistic fucking monster with a bunch of mental and physical disabilities. She should not have been fucking having, let alone raising 3 children. She's fucking psycho. So anyways, I can see the signs of abuse in the way she speaks to her children. Like, for me, my mom pretended that she was the greatest mom in the world when other people were around. But she was a monster when we got home. She fucked me up verbally, psychologically, mentally, and physically until I was almost 12. And then verbal, mental, psychological until I was 35, until I completely cut her out of mine and my son's life. It's when her boyfriend's dog hurt my nephew, and the way she reacted from it. That's why I stopped talking to her. So anyways, it's been 7 years. I still can pick up the signs. I had that trauma for 35 years. I'm not going to forget what it looks like. I'm not going to forget the looks and the sounds she makes and the gestures when she's talking to her children about what they did. I wholeheartedly think she was hitting those children. At first, I thought she was just like verbally and like fucking them up, and, you know, the punishment never fit the crime. The same thing for my mother. Everybody said the same thing. The punishment never fit the crime. It was always extreme and over the top. I was like this close from being locked in a fucking dog crate. She locked me in my room for 3 months straight. I could only come out. Actually, I think she brought me the food. I couldn't barely even interact with my sisters. I think I'd wake up, she'd leave me in my room, and I only had books. She took all my toys. She took like my blankets, my sheets. She used food as a weapon. That's why I grew up with 3 different eating disorders. But I can tell the signs, and Ruby is a very bad woman, and so is the woman that she was in the Connections with, the woman that created it. They both got arrested. I just can't remember her name. But I've been getting comments back on my comment, like, this aged well, instead of this didn't age well. I'm like, she's the fucking abuser. Why can't any of you see that? And people are like, why didn't you do more? Why didn't you do more? What can I do? DHS is being called. CPS. The neighbors are calling the cops, telling the neighbors, CPS. Everybody tried to help that were in her life in person. Nobody would listen. Family members, friends. No one would fucking listen. Because guess what? That woman's really good at lying and manipulating. Gaslighting. Victim blaming. Deflecting. Diverting the conversation to something else. Like, you think DHS and CPS, well, it wasn't CPS back then when I was a kid. We're talking like 30-something years ago. But they would give 24-hour notice. What would my mom do? She'd run us out of town. One time here in Winthrop, I had to run down the railroad tracks while she screamed and beat me. Held onto my hand and just fucking punched and slapped me because I'm the one that got her in trouble. Because I wore a dress to 2nd grade. And my bruises and welts showed. She would hit me so fucking hard and go so crazy when she was hitting me. She would like count to like 18, and if I accidentally kicked her or like slapped her or fell off the bed, God forbid if I fucking accidentally hit her back, like just by accident with my body flailing around, she'd spank me 18 more times. And then she would hit me so hard, like I said, she'd go crazy, and I'd get the belt buckle. She'd just fucking go insane on me. Come out of nowhere. Her and Dad would be arguing. Dad would leave because he couldn't handle it, because she was just too much. She'd fucking run in the room and beat the shit out of me while Dad was gone, because they were arguing about me, which means it's my fault because he was arguing about the way she treated me. But it's just, it was such fucking mind fucks and mind games, and I'm just so glad to be away from her. But I was abused. I was around somebody just like her. And you can even hear it in the noises she makes from what her kids say. Pay more attention to her. Watch the videos. Do your own research. You'll find them. And you'll see, like, just one small video. Her daughter was trying to take a doll somewhere. And she pulled it out of her backpack because I think one of her other daughters told on her. And she's like pulled it out and she's like started crying. And she's like, you don't have to hide that from me. Like, you can take a doll with you. No, she can't. She controlled those kids. You do what I say, when I say, how I say it, because I said so. And everything in this home belongs to me. That's the exact way my mom was. You don't have anything unless it's because of me. So she controlled everything. So I can tell the signs. The sounds she makes, the way she looks at her children when they say something. Pay closer attention. Watch it over and over again. Find the videos. You will find them. Especially other people talking about them and showing them instead of them deleting all their videos. They're all saved. They were deleted, but a bunch of people on Reddit saved all of her videos. But anyways, just watch them. Pay attention. Learn about these type of things. Do your own research. You will see she's an abuser. And you can tell how scared the fucking children are. And she lies constantly. The kids call her out all the time. You know, it's really, really bad. And I'm just glad all the kids are safe. And I hope she never fucking gets them back. And I hope she burns in that fucking cell. I hope she stays there forever. Never gets to see her children again. Never has any control over them. I don't have any, my mom has no control over me. Like, sometimes I still get triggered and I still get upset about, you know, the trauma. It's hard to heal from something like I've been through. But I try every day. And yeah, there's some times where I'm like, I can't believe she still has a hold of me after, you know, can still affect my life after all these years. And then finally this year, I'm like, I endured that shit for 35 years. 7 years is not enough time to get over 35 years of fucking trauma and abuse and catastrophic events and drama. It's so free without her. It's so nice without her, and I hope those children get exactly the same type of peace that I got from being away from my mother and healing myself from all of it. There is something that I forgot to say in the video. When you are watching the Franke children, as their mother's interacting with them, watch what happens to the children's face. Just so much reaction because they know what's coming. They know how they're supposed to behave on camera, and they know what's going to happen when the camera's gone. I couldn't imagine my mom having social media the way that it is. I would have been able to record a lot of her abuse and get help. I would have been able to have my own social media and fucking post it on there for everybody to see what that woman was doing to me. But also, she could have used it. Once we did start getting camera recorders, she did use it to abuse me on camera, and then she would delete it. So it can go both ways. Just like with these children. It's right there in plain sight. Some people just didn't see it. And I've been commenting on it for over a year now. And I'm just really, really glad they're getting punished for the crimes they committed to these children. And this isn't going to be the end of it, guys. A lot of stuff is going to start coming out, especially with them being in jail and having the victims feel braver and safer because they know that she's somewhere where she can't hurt them. I spoke up a lot when my mother was finally gone, and I knew she was finally gone. Like, she was not just living right where I could see her, right out that window, right in that building over there. So it makes you braver. And then some people are like, oh, that happened years ago. Why bring it up? Why talk about it now? They're probably talking about it for a reason. Yeah, you can't sit there and tell a victim that they have to speak about what happened to them right when it happened. You got to let everybody know what happened. No. Sometimes you're in shock and you're like, I can't believe that even fucking happened to me. And it's hard to even say it out loud. It's very hard. So don't sit there and tell anybody that they do not have a right to speak about what they want to and what happened to them. Because I'm seeing that. I'm literally seeing that from people defending those two. It's fucking ridiculous. One more thing I want to add. I know I'll probably talk about Ruby Franke and what's going on. But there's going to be a lot of shit that's coming out. And one of the videos that I saw months ago was Ruby Franke getting so mad because her school, the school that her kids go to, was doing a flash mob. And the songs that they were using were like, I guess, from TikTok, or they were recreating TikToks. And somebody was like, well, she's just mad because those kids are going to get more views than her. And I'm like, no. If you look at her, she wants her toddlers, her infants, young teenagers, young adults, to have complete control of their emotions and behave the way she wants them to. But that woman fucking can't control herself at all. Angry all the time, throwing shit, screaming at them. And I bet, like I said, the more that comes out, I 100%, like if I had like $100,000, I'd put that on it. That she was physically harming those children as well. Just because of like I said, the way she speaks, the things she says, the noises she makes, the movements and the sounds, on camera and off camera. Like if she was putting that shit on camera, could you just imagine what she's doing off camera? I can, because my mother was just like hers. But once she started like becoming friends with people, then she'd really show them what she's like. She would feel comfortable screaming at me and hitting me in front of her friends. Or she'd pull me in another room, beat the shit out of me. Obviously, you'd hear me screaming. And then she'd lose a bunch of friends because they're like, oh, wow, she is really not what I thought she is. But anyways, the video is, like I said, is her at the school that her kids are at. And because she cannot control what is going on, she cries like a little fucking bitch in the car. I'm so angry, I could scream. I'm highly offended by this music they're using for this flash mob. And because I have a problem with it. It should not be so. Just because you are offended by something does not mean it is offensive. It just means you're a little fucking bitch and you're offended by it. It doesn't mean it's right and that you should get what you fucking want. Like, she just looks like such a little fucking bitch. She cannot control her emotions at all, but wants to control everybody. She's just like my mother. Hearing the story and the things that she does, yes, it's triggering for me. But, like, to see these children get justice and for the whole world to see what this woman is doing, I'm glad. Because it feels like I'm getting justice against my mom like I never did. I didn't even think about that I could have taken her to court and made her go to jail and put her in prison for what she did to me. So that's why I advocate and I speak out for victims and I speak against predators and fucking abusers and monsters.